I'm here with Dr. Jim Taylor. Jim, would you please just give us a bit of an idea of your background and particularly with respect to swimming and the relevance and why it's you?
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. I come from my interest in SwimBETTER from two sides. First, initially, is my involvement as an elite age group triathlete. So just very quickly, I'm a national champion, 3-time world medalist. But more, so I guess I'm pretty fast, but more than anything, I'm just incredibly passionate about it. And what motivates me, what fuels me in my triathlon racing is just seeing how fast I can be and to see if I can compete against the best in the world. I've always been amazed at how the sport of swimming is still in the 20th century. And certainly compared to cycling and even compared to running. And then Brendan mentioned this company called EO Labs and this SwimBETTER. And I'm going like, what's this about? And he described it. And I reached out to you folks and you've been very gracious in terms of getting me a set of handsets. And it's blown me away. I mean, it's now I truly understand what I'm doing wrong. And the numbers are so clear. And so for me, it's not only, to identify using the metrics provided by SwimBETTER, but also to judge progress. And so I have improved a ton, and I think I've been using them about a month now, and my numbers are improving a ton. And so like literally for the first time, I feel like I understand why I'm slower and what I need to do to get faster. It's amazing how, I think I'm a pretty good athlete, but it's amazing how comparing what I feel like I'm doing to the data, there's an ocean between them, especially in terms of downward forces and lateral forces, where I swear to God, I'm pulling straight back, but I'm not. And so this makes it so clear. And it's also shown me like really where exactly I'm struggling. And I've worked with those swim coaches who are very capable, and they say, do this, do that. But there's no way to really tell if you're doing this or that. Yeah, and I had the whole denial thing of like, the sensors need to be calibrated or something. I swear I'm doing the right thing, but they don't, and data doesn't lie. And so for me, I see it as an amazing tool, just for help, especially people who come from non-swimming backgrounds, to really understand exactly what's going on. But I think people who are driven to get faster, and whether you're a 14-year-old trying to make nationals, or whether you're a triathlete trying to be your best to get through an Ironman, amazing tools. Well, I initially thought, well, it's like a power meter for your hands, but it's way more than a power meter for your hands. I mean, all a power meter does is provide one metric of force.
Yeah,
and SwimBETTERs, they provide 6, and a multitude of 3D, what I call 3D 360 data that can be used for analyses and also ultimately insights.
Did you have difficulty in terms of wearing them, in terms of hand feel, in terms of did they feel awkward or anything?
No, super easy. I just have to make sure that they're Velcroed on tight enough. And but aside from that, I'm not even aware of them when I swim. So they're very well designed and very comfortable, and they're not intrusive at all.
Yeah, that tends to be the feedback. Can you give me some idea of what sort of problems that you've been able to diagnose and how you've used the system to try and improve?
Yeah. So as you well know, I've got probably 3 main issues. One is too much downforce as I begin my pull. Second is imbalance right to left. I'm much stronger on my left. And third is left-right force vectors instead of straight back. And so I use them. I use that a couple of ways. First is really focusing on rolling over the barrel and getting into the high elbow, sort of classic pull position. And what's nice about that is that I can see it. So, with a snorkel, I have my eyes, I can see myself being in that position. And that helps a lot because that gives me sort of direct visual kinesthetic awareness of that change. I definitely struggle with whether I feel like I'm pulling straight back, but I'm clearly not. And then the left right I still struggle with, because I've tried to do some sets where I'm pulling more on the right and I'm not able to focus long enough. And that was your suggestion about going to just doing 50s instead of 200s. I think will help, because I can focus for 50 on extra pulling on the right side. But more than anything else, what's powerful for me is just be able to see that when I make changes, my stroke changes and my numbers change. And there's nothing more powerful than direct feedback, like not just coach saying, "Oh, that's much better," or "That felt better," or "Maybe I'm 2 seconds faster," but direct data in terms of what forces I'm actually generating. As a swimmer, I used to not enjoy swimming at all, and now I can't wait to get to the pool, because it's so exciting to see have these metrics and to be able to see the improvement. And so it helps motivation, helps confidence, because confidence comes from getting feedback from the world that you're getting faster.
Yeah.
And so like as you suggest, your swim time is going to vary somewhat, just how you're doing that day and how difficult the week was and things like that. And hopefully you see an upward trend, but you don't necessarily see that over the course of a week or two. Whereas with SwimBETTER, you get that feedback immediately, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm heading in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, in fact, our call yesterday really enabled me to take another step forward in my understanding of force versus time, because the timing of it. So now, because it's one thing to see this line, it's another thing to put into 3-dimensional space. And so for the first time, I was able to see that somewhere back here is where I'm turning in. Yeah. And that makes that information is really powerful, because a very important psychological aspect of humans is we like being in control. And being in control starts with understanding. So if in here, yes, okay, I'm pulling in laterally to the right, sort of this sort of undefined space. But now if I know in this here, I can, I don't know where I'm at here, but from here to here, I can focus on that.
Yeah.
And then I can do something about it. Yeah. And so that reduces frustration, because frustration is usually caused by being in a situation where something is interfering with your pursuit of your goals. And if you don't understand, you're not going to clear the path. And so the best way to reduce frustration is to understand what the problem is, because then you can find a solution. SwimBETTER for me is such a powerful tool. I believe that every serious swimmer, whether a youth, junior, college, Olympian, isn't using it, because or even age groupers, triathletes who want to be faster. If you just want to go back and forth in your morning workouts and get exercise, you don't need them. And then you see so many swimmers out there as well, as you well know, who are just horrible, but they don't care. They're getting their exercise, and that's fine. But there's a huge population of incredibly committed swimmers and triathletes who want to get faster. They're competitive. And these days, if you're not leveraging technology to get faster, then you're not going to be as fast as you can be. And the SwimBETTER provides such amazing data. It's so clear. It's so understandable. And then ultimately it's so actionable, plus being able to track the progress you're making is just invaluable. So for me, it's like a no-brainer. And if you're a serious cyclist, you don't have a power meter, you don't have a head unit, what century are you in?
Yeah.
And so this is one of the next steps of dragging swimming into the 21st century and going from analog, which they literally use with stopwatches and timers, to the digital world. And so is it worth it? If your goal is to get faster, yes. And it also is one of those things that every swim program should have. Again, junior, high school, college, national team. This is how you win medals, because think about the data that SwimBETTER provides. We're talking very small percentages. Well, how many Olympic gold medals are decided by this much?
Oh, so Kyle Chalmers lost the gold medal in Tokyo by 600ths of a second to Caleb Dressel.
Right. So this much. you probably didn't even see me move my hand.
Yeah.
But, 1/2 of 1%, 1/4 of 1%, that's night and day in swimming. And so if anybody or any program is looking to get those marginal gains, and that's a phrase that's used a lot in cycling, marginal gains, the little gains, 0.5%, but can be exponentially impactful at the end of at the finish line, then, SwimBETTER, it's, no brainer, must have.
Thank you very much, Jim.